What's going on, everybody? Author Stephen Walton here, and I am feeling particularly cunty this morning. So I was made hip to an article this morning by BearBear Nerd Fun. If you haven't checked out Bear, please do. Link will be in the description below. The article in which he sent me was by a woman by the name of Katie McCourt. It's called "When Systematic Hatred of Women Online Goes Unnoticed, What Does It Say About Us?" I read this article, and when reading this article, I realized it's the same old bullshit, the same old bullshit. I looked up who Katie McCourt is, and what I found was, this is Katie McCourt's LinkedIn profile. It says she's a data analyst in XR, emerging tech, and video games. I'm not going to go through her entire LinkedIn history, but one thing that I did find very important was that from May 2015 to December 2016, she was a data analyst, federal government affairs intern, Entertainment Software Association, led project on data collection, analytics, and visualization of active video game companies in America, their employee counts, and their growth rates by state, metropolitan statistical area, congressional district, and state district. As project lead, intelligence and company database increased over 233% and has become the largest recorded database of active domestic game companies available for public access. Increased data on the video games industry and congressional districts by 51 percentage points. Increase in data has influenced strategic decisions essential in promoting the interests of the video game industry and its members in government relations. Managed an additional database on video game studies, programs, and courses offered by higher educational institutions across the United States. As project lead, intelligence on game programs increased 156%. Leveraged an API and manually researched through 40,000 web pages to collect and verify data. Designed, implemented, and managed a relational database in Microsoft Access. Communicated business intelligence to top executives and executives of the industry's top game publishers through written reports and oral presentations. Organized and tracked metrics for association events, including E3, the largest video game technology conference in the world. Now, why is this important? First off, why is the government collecting this data? Well, if you ever get a chance to read the Fandom Menace Volume 1, in Chapter 1, Gamergate, I let you know this quote from The Rise of Games and High-Performance Computer Modeling and Simulation in 2010. This section was from the Political Manipulation Through Games on the Internet. Large-scale games create a new venue for political manipulation. While some cases of direct political manipulation of an individual have been popularized by fiction, such as the Manchurian Candidate, it is the manipulation of large numbers of people that can potentially be accomplished through internet media. Enabled by the internet, political messages can potentially be quickly distributed to the world population with little validation beyond the recipient's own social filters. Games, modeling, and simulation present a new dynamic in the use of the internet as a source of propaganda. This book is based on a paper by the National Research Council, the NRC, commissioned by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, in spring of 2008. One of the committee members for modeling, simulation, and games at the NRC who authored this paper was Michael J. Zaida, vice president at gaming company Electronic Arts. Imagine that. Wasn't Katie organizing and tracking metrics for association events, including E3? So this article is published on a website called Medium. I've never heard of Medium, so I had to check it out. What is Medium? And what I found out was, this article was written on August 23rd, 2013 in The Atlantic. Just about a year ago, a new website from two of the founders of Twitter launched. It was called Medium. This site was an invite only, but outsiders could read from various collectors. Eve Williams announced this site in a post. Medium, he said, was a new place on the internet where people share ideas and stories that are longer than 140 characters and not just for friends. Evan Williams has a Twitter still with 1.8 million followers, which is pretty impressive. I looked through his Twitter feed, and as I said, I didn't really find any far leftist stuff, but then again, I really didn't do any in-depth research. Do not harass anyone. Please do not harass anyone, create any harassment campaigns or these people. But this is his Twitter. There's the connection to medium.com. Check him out if you so choose. Evan Williams is a co-founder of Twitter. He left to create Medium back in 2013. Now, I checked out his Twitter profile. I did a little investigation. Didn't find anything too far leftist. Actually, pretty much technical. But I'm sure that our good friends in the Fandom Menace, such as Itchy Baka or Data Racer 117, would, if anyone, find any information on this. Speaking of Data Racer 117, let's get into this article. So now that we know exactly who we're dealing with here with Katie McCourt, let's look at her article, When Systematic Hatred of Women Goes Unnoticed. What does it say about us? Disclaimer, this article is intended for educational and research purposes only. It has been published to shed light and correct understanding on the escalating issue of hatred of women online. By extension, this article also aims to inform readers on right-leaning and left-leaning internet hive minds and their negative influence on culture, politics, and society. If you're a woman who is active in an online, women-dominated fandom space, then you're well aware of everything this article is about to tell you. You've read every death threat. You've gone through sometimes graphic, but always malicious, anonymous message or tweet explaining every way in which some person you'll never know would like to harm you, already building the narrative. Of course, you may have been banned from a fan forum or had your messages wiped from a Discord channel by a bot or mod who decided your thoughts or your words as a woman were not allowed around here. You'll probably remember all the times your sexual identity, your race, or your religious affiliation was questioned and erased. You have read every time the latest hive mind online has labeled you as a sexist, a racist, an abuse apologist, a school shooter, an inbred, a Nazi, a mental case, inhuman. This is very funny. This is a very, very funny article because it seems like as the Reylos have been lumped together with the Fandom Menace, that things like this are now going to be espoused. This is the new direction of propaganda, to lump all of us together, because the Reylos, for the most part, after sending death threats for years and stalking Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, they're now sending death threats to J.J. Abrams and standing up for their hero, Rian Johnson. We'll get to Rian Johnson later, because Katie seems to be in love with Rian Johnson. As a matter of fact, she retweets Rian Johnson quite often whenever I need some hope in my life. I'd look at this. This is a Disney apologist. This is a Disney Lucasfilm fan trying to separate herself and create this wall between the toxic fans, the Disney Star Wars fans, and herself. I don't know. Let's investigate this article even further. You probably know someone who's had their information put up on Reddit threads or 4chan forums or alt-right YouTube channels for everybody to see. The aim? To determine if maybe they could find ways to hurt that individual in person, or at the very least, make their life a little harder. Again, we see the same old tired narratives. The 4chan forums and alt-right YouTube channels, the Fandom Menace, that's where, of course, alt-right, we're all labeled that, blanket statement. And then she says, you'll probably put your information out there. Well, yes, you've written a propaganda piece about people. You have made blanket statements. You're trying to lump us in with the toxic fans that you are actually associated with. And now I'm going to call that out. I, of course, do not want anyone to go to this woman's website, this woman's Twitter, and harass her. Go read this article for yourself. Make a video about it. Get the word out there that we have new propaganda, because this, ladies and gentlemen, is the new direction of the bullshit that's going to be coming out of Disney Lucasfilm apologists. This is the new direction. To lump all those toxic Reylos and toxic Disney Lucasfilm fans in with the legacy fandom, the Fandom Menace. This is the new direction. This is the new propaganda. This is a perfect example of the new propaganda that's going to be coming out of these ilks. We've experienced countless cycles of this outrage, ranging from comic book heroes to K-pop. One of the most recent iterations, however, is driven by a desire to see two fictional space wizards kiss in a galaxy far, far away. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this, it's like to be a fan of Reylo in the Star Wars fandom. Well, looks a bit like this. And then she's collected tweets, of course. The definition of incel is Reylo. Reylo shippers aren't Star Wars fans. They're barely even human. Cry about it. Well, these are opinions that are hurting Katie's feelings. They hurt her feelings. And she has to say something about this. At the same time, and understand, at the same time, this is the dogma of far leftists. The dogma of this extremist way of thinking is they can spout and sew together whatever word salads they wish, whatever narratives they wish, without doing any actual investigation. without presenting facts of the matter. As I've said, we have a couple Reylos, people that like Reylo in the Fandom Menace. We have people that like TLJ in the Fandom Menace. We have people that even like Disney Star Wars for some insane reason in the Fandom Menace. Now, all of these I can't understand myself, but I enjoy their opinions being there. Their opinions are just as valid as mine. These opinions right here are just as valid as mine. I mean, just Reylos have proven themselves, for the most part, not all, for the most part, have proven themselves to be a disgusting group of people who fantasize about an abusive relationship. This is what it is. They have been doing their own thing. They have been attacking the traditional fans for years, but yet the new narrative states that these people, that these people are not only being attacked by the Fandom Menace, by the legacy fandom, but they also are sick and are not a part of her Disney Lucasfilm culture fandom, yet we're all lumped together in this same group of toxic fans. This is the new narrative. This is the new narrative. Understand that. Of course, we're going to throw up a bunch of symbolism about Nazis and things like that. Reylo shipper starter pack not targeted toward abuse survivors. I mean, some of this is just funny. Some of this is just really funny. And it shows the hypocrisy. She's so ignorant, she doesn't even understand. She doesn't even understand that this satire here. The satire here is being labeled a Nazi, being labeled alt-rights, you know, and all these terrible names by people like her and her ilk, and turning it around and showing the hypocrisy of it. Because remember, SJWs will point the finger at you and call you something that they are. That's how they avoid responsibility. That's how they avoid introspective thought and philosophical development. Lots and lots and lots of screenshots taken by this woman as proof of her bullshit. There are people out there, for instance, this one that says, I hate Reylo shippers die. I don't know if this person's in the Fandom Menace or not, you know, but they have the right to that opinion. They're not threatening anybody. They're just saying, I wish they were dead. I don't condone death threats to anybody. That's insane. Okay? That's insane. If you're promoting any kind of death or violence or in any way to someone, that's not cool. That's not cool. But you can criticize them, talk shit, give your opinion all day long. I don't care. I don't care. The far leftists have been doing it. Katie's apparently doing it. Now, I'm not going to go through this entire article. I really do want you guys to go out there and read this. I mean, just give it the clicks. This is a perfect example of propaganda. This is how you defend an indefensible position with a word salads and supposed research and just bullshit. But a few great nuggets in this article. Most people, whether it's because you've kept up with the after effects of the 2016 election or because you've spent any time on YouTube as of late, are familiar with the alt-right. This group leans male and is driven mostly by insecurity, overt misogyny, and a sense of ownership over what they think are male-dominated spaces being overrun by women. It's another example of extreme conservative thinking. What was mine should stay mine, and anybody who thinks differently than me needs to get out of my way. Propaganda. Bullshit. This is just complete and utter bullshit. Nothing about that paragraph has anything to do other than the people with Trump derangement syndrome driving politics into entertainment have been. You can't deny it. You look at the movies, look at the pitches, look at the various quotes coming out of that camp, out of Hollywood, out of these actors and SJWs, and it's very easy to see. Arguably, the biggest example of alt-right hate and harassment online is Gamergate, an anti-woman bullying campaign that first arose on 4chan. This movement's aim was to push women out of gaming journalism, game design, and gaming fandom by sending death threats, rape threats, stalking women, and dehumanizing women to their peers. Again, if you ever want to learn, I have an entire chapter that I've placed together in the Fandom Menace Volume 1 about Gamergate, showing you why that narrative, that paragraph, what she stated right there, is complete and utter bullshit. That is a lie. That is a collection of lies. That is dumbing down all of the bullshit narratives that have been spun out by gaming journalists, by the mainstream, by the access media, by game developers, to protect one hoe. Really, to protect one hoe, one person, one woman who was trading sexual favors for favorable reviews. Upsetted the gamers themselves who looked to these medias, these journalism medias, for critiques about video games and were not receiving it. They were not receiving it because of the backroom deals and the exchange of sexual favors that goes on within that industry. Please check out this article. Please check out the Fandom Menace Volume 1 of Fandom Betrayed. This explains it all to you. This whole thing, Ghostbusters 2016, all right, Star Wars, Star Trek Discovery, what's happened in Doctor Who, what's going to happen in other visual mediums, other cinematic mediums that we're about to engage in, what's happened in Comicsgate, what's happened in the mainstream comics industry. This all comes from Gamergate. And all of this is based on this bullshit narrative. Inaccurate, horseshit, complete lie. This is a completely fabricated truth that the SJWs have put forth. So while this woman, Katie McCourt, is putting this article together, she is using outright lies, straight propaganda. This person is a propagandist. The event bolstered the anger, insecurity, and sexism of young men into an... This is, you know what? This is such bullshit. Online hive mind that continues today, most notably in Gamergate's successor, Comicsgate, which orchestrated the attempted sabotage of Captain Marvel's release. Wow, this person is all about the narrative. Please read this article. I'm begging you. I'm begging you guys. Please read this article, and then I want you to read the Fandom Menace Volume 1, because it's night and day. This article is complete propaganda. My book, available on Amazon in ebooks, the Fandom Menace Volume 1, Fandom Betrayed, that is everything that will show you the truth about most of these narratives. Doesn't go into Captain Marvel. That will be in a later volume, and trust and believe, I blow the lid off that bullshit. These people are not hard to find. They parade their ideas on Reddit or, increasingly likely, on monetized YouTube channels. Their tactic often includes spreading misinformation using false evidence, discrediting women's interests by reducing them to mental cases, dogpiling, and doxing. Whew! Woo! Now, as I said, SJWs will point the finger at you and call you what they are. This person is a propagandist. She is saying that the Fandom Menace is producing misinformation. That's exactly what she's doing. Exactly what she's doing. There's no way around it. If you read my book, you'd understand that. Or go check out Ichibaka's web blog site, Disney Star Wars is Dumb. He is also an invaluable resource in the fight against this type of bullshit. In the Star Wars fandom, the right-leaning group refers to themselves as the Fandom Menace. Again, she is attaching politics to the Fandom Menace, when the Fandom Menace, if it was a group, which it is not, it is a hashtag, it is a collective, but if it was a group, our mission statement would be get your politics out of our entertainment. This person does not understand the Fandom Menace. She has not researched the Fandom Menace. She doesn't understand I hate to use these words, these buzzwords, but the diversity in the Fandom Menace. We are the traditional fandom. We are fans of the OT. We are fans of the PT. We are fans of Star Trek. We are fans of Doctor Who. We are fans of Battlestar. We are fans of Game of Thrones. We are fans of so many different things. And there are so many different types of us from all over the world. This woman wishes that her clique, that her bullshit narratives, that they had the kind of backing the Fandom Menace has, but I digress. The group that was created by former Comicsgate supporter Ethan Van Sciver, who goes by Comic Artist Pro Secrets on YouTube. He frequently uploads videos, clickbait title and all, with common alt-right buzzwords like SJW. Well, you are an SJW, Katie, and let me explain something, Miss Social Justice Warrior, trying not to act like a social justice warrior and completely showing your social justice-y flag in all of its amazing glory and bullshit. I am not a right-leaning person. I and many other people are not conservative. I did not vote for Donald Trump. To be quite honest with you, there are times when Trump kind of makes me sick. And conservative Christian, I have friends in the Fandom Menace. If it was not for the friendships that I have made in the Fandom Menace with people who consider themselves religious conservatives, I would have no religious conservative friends. None. It's because of the Fandom Menace. It's because of our our connective tissue in fighting for our modern mythologies. It's because of the true diversity within the Fandom Menace that I have friends that are now I now have friends that are trans, that are Christian conservatives, that are from all different walks of life all over the world. Fuck you. Fuck your false narrative, Katie. You are so full of shit. She goes on to, show tweets. Oh, of course. Ethan, Uncle E. I wish Uncle E liked me. I don't think Uncle E likes me, but I love him. Yeah, so it's just bullshit, a bunch of BS, protecting Reylos, and then, saying Reylos are being attacked. Most importantly, though, I'd like to point out in this article, oh, and yeah, she goes after John Boyega. She goes after John Boyega because of what just happened a few weeks ago. John standing up because he realizes he got the shaft. He realizes it. He knows Reylos are toxic. He's been hanging out with Daisy and Adam. Like, how does he not know what they've been through? He's standing up for his friends. I mean, I've had issues with John Boyega, but in this, I have absolutely no issue with him whatsoever. But she points out that, that's all that makes him toxic. All right, and I'm going to end it off here with another common theme was that Reylos were toxic. The theme was mostly fed by alt-right circles and originated with a post by Fandom Menace supporter, Data Racer 117, who has a history of harassing Reylos. I don't think that I'm mistaken in saying that Data Racer 117 is Fandom Menace. He has been an excellent source of many videos. He goes into the Twitter trenches and he deals with SJWs all day long. I don't know how Data Racer does it and doesn't lose his damn mind. But she goes after Data Racer, of course, and I'm glad. Give him more attention, please. We monetize your tears, as I am monetizing your bullshit, Katie. Now, I am not telling anyone to go harass Katie. Do not harass Katie. If you want to go and give your opinion, go and give your opinion. Don't be a complete jerk about it. Well, maybe a jerk, but don't say anything threatening, for God's sakes. Even though this person is completely full of shit and a complete propagandist and is basically attacking several people while trying to protect others, while trying to protect her false narrative, while pushing propaganda that's almost a decade old. Hey, we need these types of people. If anything, I would ask you to monetize this fool. Please, go right ahead. Look at this article. Give it a click. Give it a good read. It deserves it. This is completely fake news. I know some of you lefties out there don't like the term fake news because Trump used it, but he didn't actually invent that term. He just used it. And this is fake news. This is a perfect example of propaganda. Lies, bullshit, sewn together with buzzwords. Half of the tale. As Jussie Smollett would say, take a drop of truth and sprinkle it on a pile of bullshit lies. Katie does that very well. She actually says in this at the bottom of this article that she spent 4 years collecting data on this. Well, Katie, you spent 4 years collecting data to push a false narrative, but you didn't learn dick. You didn't learn anything but the same old tired lies. Read a book, The Fandom Menace Volume 1, available on Amazon Kindle. Data Racer 117 has been an invaluable resource to the Fandom Menace. I even listed him in the Fandom Menace Volume 1 as a resource, along with several other wonderful people like Itchy Baka, Nick Nugent, and Stephen Wayne Art. Please check out these wonderful supporters of the Fandom Menace and the fighters for fan freedom. Katie McCourt is spewing the same old tired lies. It seems like far leftists haven't discovered anything new since Gamergate. They just keep repeating the same bullshit and thinking that they invented it. It's wonderful how these types don't need any form of understanding of the subject in order to report on it. They don't need to know. It's wonderful that Katie thinks that she needs to stand up for Reylos, the same people that were harassing Adam Driver, and stalking him, and wishing his baby was dead, stalking Daisy Ridley, doing all those wonderful things. But what Katie fails to realize is that even in the Fandom Menace, we have a couple Reylos. Yes, we do. We have one or two, just like Star Wars for Life. My good friend Ruthie, she enjoys that. Now, we can all question a person that thinks an abusive relationship is something sexy, but Ruthie is a well-respected member within the Fandom Menace. She's attached to damn near every social circle. I think she works for the Geeks and Gamers Discord. She's well-respected. This is the thing. People like Katie McCourt, who's been doing research for 4 years and still doesn't know dick about the Fandom Menace, is just pushing the false narrative. She doesn't know what the Fandom Menace is. She doesn't know what we're about. She has no fucking clue. Anybody pushing the false narrative has no clue because they're not trying to tell the truth. The Fandom Menace is so diverse and there's so many people with different opinions. The one thing that we all agree on is getting your politics out of our entertainment. Get your bullshit identity politics. Get your far left extremism. Get your racism and your segregationism and your get all of that. We want that all out of our escapism. We don't want it there. That's what we agree on. There are people in the Fandom Menace that like The Last Jedi. There are people in the Fandom Menace that like Disney Star Wars. There are people that like Reylo. We have all different kinds and all different types. So you don't know what the hell you're talking about, Katie, but thank you. Thank you for providing me more material. I appreciate this material. I'm going to be quoting you in an upcoming Fandom Menace volumes. How can I not? You have shown just how people like you on the far left who don't know what you're talking about structure your narrative in a way to make it look like poor women are the victim. Just like Zoe Quinn sleeping around with a bunch of different dudes to get favorable reviews in games was painted as the damsel in distress, the harasser. Just like sexists like Anita Sarkeesian, who have been just espouting sexism and racism for so long now, can't see anything but sexism and racism, is a feminist hero. You're a hero too, Katie. You're a hero of bullshit. You are a purveyor of the false narrative. Good for you. Thank you. Thank you for adding more content, and thank you for adding more validity to the Fandom Menace and what we stand for. Thanks a lot, everybody. If you could do me a favor and share the living hell out of this, give me some likes. I'm not going to be doing all too many videos, but I'm going to try and put out more content like this, something that is offering something to the community. Check out the Fourth Wave when you can on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and hail to the Fandom Menace. Be good to each other. Peace.
You had best square your ass away and start shitting me Tiffany cufflinks, or I will definitely fuck you up.